What if the secret to a long and happy life wasn't really a secret at all? What if it was a principle you could start living like today? Well, we're about to dive into this really powerful Japanese concept that kind of combines your passion, your skills, and what the world needs, all into one single word: Ikigai.
So where are we getting all this from? It's all based on the international bestseller Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. The authors Hector Garcia and Francesca Morales, they really set out to solve one of life's biggest mysteries.
All right, check out this Japanese proverb. Only staying active will make you want to live 100 years. Think about that for a second. This is so key. The goal isn't just about, adding more years to your life. It's about actually having the desire to live those years, a desire that's fueled by a real sense of purpose.
And really, that leads to the fundamental question that drove the authors, right? It's a question we all ask ourselves at some point. And their search for an answer, well, it led them all the way from a rainy night in a super busy Tokyo bar to this tiny, remote island village.
So it all started in this little bar in Tokyo. The author's journey began, like so many great stories do, with a simple conversation about the modern search for meaning.
And they were wrestling with the big questions, Like, why do some people just radiate passion and purpose? Well, so many of us feel kind of adrift. What's the point of it all? And their conversation, it just kept circling back to this one mysterious Japanese word.
And that word? It was Ikigai. Now, it's a concept that translates roughly to the happiness of always being busy. But hold on, it's not about being a workaholic, not at all. It's about having a reason to get out of bed in the morning. It's your reason for being.
Okay, so this whole idea of Ikigai, it led the authors to a place where people don't just live long, they live well. A place where that reason for being is literally woven into the fabric of daily life.
So their search took them to one of the world's 5 blue zones. These are these really rare hotspots where people have extraordinary longevity. And the one that's most famous for it? The island of Okinawa in Japan.
And the numbers here, they're absolutely staggering. In Okinawa, you've got almost 25 people over the age of 100 for every 100,000 people. To put that into perspective, that completely blows the global average out of the water. I mean, something truly special is happening there.
So they zeroed in on this small town called Ogimi. Its nickname? The Village of Longevity. Why? Because it has the highest life expectancy in the entire world. And this wasn't just a place to study charts and data. This was a place to learn from actual, living, breathing examples of a long, happy life.
So what were the secrets? Well, some of them were kind of what you'd expect. A healthy diet, lots of veggies, and constant, gentle movement. But they also found 2 other absolutely crucial factors. First, a really powerful sense of community, something they call a moai, which is like a social support group that gives you financial and emotional security for your entire life. And right at the very heart of it all, a clearly defined Ikigai.
Okay, so this brings us right to the core of it, right? How can we find our own Ikigai? Well, the book offers a really beautiful and practical framework to help us do just that.
First, let's just break the word down. The characters themselves kind of tell the story. You have Iki, which means life, and Gai, which means to be worthwhile. So, at its most literal level, Ikigai is all about discovering what makes your life feel worthwhile.
And this diagram, it just illustrates the concept so perfectly. Your Ikigai is found right where 4 key areas of your life overlap. Okay, so it starts with what you love. That's your passion. Then it combines with what you're good at. That's your profession. Next, you have to consider what the world needs. That's your mission. And finally, what you can get paid for. That's your vocation. And that sweet spot, right in the middle, where all 4 of those circles meet, boom, that's your Ikigai.
And this isn't just some abstract Japanese idea. It actually echoes the work of the famous psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. See, while traditional psychoanalysis looks to the past to figure out our problems, his idea, logotherapy, looks toward the future. It argues that our main drive as humans isn't pleasure, it's the search for meaning. And Ikigai, it's pretty much the perfect embodiment of that drive for purpose.
Okay, so once you have a sense of your Ikigai, how do you actually live it? How do you experience that purpose day to day? Well, a huge part of the answer is getting into a state of mind that psychologists call flow.
You know what flow is, right? It's that magical state where you're so completely immersed in an activity that time just disappears. And it's all about matching the challenge to your skill. If a task is way too easy, you get bored.
If it's way too hard, you get anxious. But right there, in the middle, that just right zone where the challenge is high but still achievable, that's the sweet spot. That's where you find flow.
Now, in our modern world, the #1 enemy of flow is multitasking. We all think we're being so efficient, but the evidence is crystal clear. Constantly switching our focus just destroys concentration, it can tank our productivity by as much as 60%, and it just creates stress. The secret to achieving flow is actually super simple. Do one thing at a time.
Okay, to wrap things up, the book distills all this wisdom from Okinawa into a few simple but really powerful habits that we can all adopt to bring more purpose and happiness into our own lives.
Let's start with how they eat. The Okinawans have this saying they repeat before every single meal: Hara, hachi, bu. It's a simple reminder to fill your belly to only about 80%. And this practice of moderation, it actually prevents the body from being worn down by these long, energy-sucking digestive processes, which promotes much better health in the long run.
The people of Ogimi are also in constant but gentle motion. I mean, they're not out there running marathons. They're just less sedentary. It's all about the small, consistent choices that really add up. Things like taking a daily 20-minute walk, always choosing the stairs over the elevator, making time for social activities, snacking smart, and seriously, prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of good sleep.
And this quote really sums it all up. Look, genes play a role. Of course they do. But as Alexandra Image, who lived to be 111, observed, the life you live is equally or more important for longevity. Your attitude, your purpose, your daily choices, they matter a lot.
And so we end with the challenge that the book itself poses. Finding your Ikigai, that's the first step. The next step, the harder one, is having the courage to actually live it fully. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Are you ready to throw yourself into your passion as if it were the most important thing in the world?